everybody, and welcome to your favorite podcast in the whole fucking world, PopCornDogs. It's a podcast about bathtub sucking and and naked dancing. My name is Brad, and I'm very excited to talk about a controversial film today.
My name is Tyler, and what a roller coaster of emotions I've experienced with this movie, and we'll get into why.
And we have a very special guest today. You probably know him as Social Cig, and his name is also known as Parker. If you know that, I've never called you Parker before. I always think of you as Cig in my head.
Siggy, Parker, whatever you want to call me, honestly. But hey, how's it going, everyone?
Siggy, I like that.
Yeah, I know. Someone called me that one time. I was like, oh, I kind of like that. That's cool.
Yeah. For our listeners who don't know who Social Cig is or what you do, could you just give a little synopsis of your life?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a big one.
I'm a local Milwaukeean living in River West. I am a full-time musician right now as Social Cig. So I make indie skate rock music. I also run a podcast out of my house called the Social Cig Podcast. But making music and on the road a lot this last year. So it's been great.
You just had, was it episode 50 the other day?
Yeah, 52.
52.
Yep.
How often do you release episodes?
It depends on the month. This summer, I only did like 3. I definitely took a breather just to enjoy the summer a little bit more. But once I got into fall, it started picking up again. So usually once a week, I'll do it.
Yeah, it's great. If people want to learn about the live music scene or any local musicians, it's really good. I checked out an episode the other day. I know Dak personally. I briefly worked with him.
Yeah, he's
a great
great
guy.
Oh, yeah. You worked with him? I didn't know that.
Very briefly. He got trained in, and then he quit. But it's always like, dude, what's up?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always a good spark of energy to talk to. I love Dak.
And we are going to be drinking some delicious beer sent to us from Ryan. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
And we had Siggy here choose a couple of beers. This is from Equal Parts Brewing. This is called Intermezzo. I think that's how you would say those two Z's. I'm looking to the music guy. I'm not sure.
Intermezzo?
Intermezzo?
Intermezzo.
It's a fruited sour ale lemon bar, which beautiful can.
I love lemon bars, so that word choice there stuck out to me when I picked this one.
Yeah.
That is a taste.
Is there a proper way to taste these flights? Kind of just.
Well, I mean,
I just saw you sniff it, and
yeah.
Is there like a specific way, or is that just personal?
I worked in breweries for a very long time, and I just developed a lot of habits that I don't even think about anymore. Yeah, I always have a smell before I take a drink.
Yeah. This one smells really good.
It is fantastic. Very lemon bar.
The can looks like something you'd pick up in Starfield.
But there's really no specific way to drink beer.
Wow, I like that.
You can, certain glasses, like glassware, will actually lend to styles. There's like certain IPA glasses, there's stout glasses, there's sour glasses.
Snifters.
It's mostly about the aroma and delivering that to your nose in the way that it wants to.
I noticed sours are normally in the bigger, wider based glass, maybe.
Yeah, that's just generally how they're served because they're like expensive beers. Okay. So you wouldn't get a 16 ouncer of like a sour because they're time intensive. They take a longer time to make and a little more effort.
Gotcha.
That's also why they're expensive. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. I love this beer.
Yes. So I asked you maybe like 3 months ago about possibly coming on the show, and you said, of course.
Yep.
And then we were trying to figure out a movie to talk about.
The holidays happened. We were maybe going to do a holiday movie, but...
And you're a busy man. We're lucky we even got you here, I think.
Oh, no, it's all good. Yeah, no, I'm glad to make the time.
But you posted on your Instagram, your eyes like very wide. You said, just watch Saltburn.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the perfect opportunity. This film is very divisive. As many articles saying it's horrible and a big letdown as there are people saying it's transformative and amazing and unique. before I watched it, I went over to a friend's house and two girls, they were like just talking about Murder on the Dance Floor and how this was the greatest movie ever. And all we knew going in was it's kind of maybe a cultish film, like about cults or something. And I didn't know anything going in. And I'm curious. I didn't love it the first time. Since then, I love it. After researching it and watching it again, so I'm coming in pretty hot on the film. How about you two?
I did not know anything about this film, but I knew I had to see it because it's not every day that we get a film that just plants itself in our zeitgeist and everybody's talking about it. And I feel like it's been a long time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Since we've had one of those movies where it's like, you got to see Saltburn.
Yeah.
Like, people at work are talking about it. And normally we just talk about beer and how we want to go home. And now we're talking about, like, yo, do you have Prime? Do you have Prime? Did you see this movie?
And it's nice that it's on Prime.
Yeah.
Pretty much everyone's got it.
Exactly.
I also thought it was going to be about a cult or something. And I don't know why I picked up on that, but I tried really hard not to get anything spoiled. And the first time I watched it, I loathed it. I was like, this is terrible.
Oh, yeah.
But then, like, for 3 days, I was just thinking about it. And I've warmed up to it. I actually scaled it on a scale from 1 to 10. I give it a 7.6.
Nice. That's a good
It's a solid score.
I didn't know that it was so controversial actually until you just said it here, but that definitely makes a lot of sense in culture for people to kind of rip on it. But I went into it also not knowing anything about it, just watching the trailer, and pleasantly surprised for sure about the plot and everything and the characters and how it developed. I definitely was along for the ride, so to speak, of just having the story unfold.
Yeah.
It was freaking wild, though.
It's a film, sometimes you watch a movie and you watch it again and it's the same thing. It's like it doesn't reveal anymore. This film, I think, is a little frustrating the first time you watch it because you're waiting for a twist. You want to know what happens. And when the twist isn't what you thought it would be or necessarily wanted, you're kind of upset. I was upset. I'm like, I wanted weird murders. I wanted sex cults. I wanted vampires. And when it just turned out to be an intense character study and, a movie about obsession and desire and
Sociopaths.
Dancing naked and bathtubs and
graves.
But when you watch it the second time, knowing what's coming, you can like really sink in a little bit more and just watch a tour de force. It's the cinematography. This is probably my favorite film, image wise from last year. It is stunning.
Something I noticed that was in the notes that you had that I noticed right away was the aspect ratio of the 4:3. That was really interesting. I noticed that right away because I had a conversation recently with my buddy who's a filmmaker and just about aspect ratios. And I was like, oh, this is a 4:3. This is add something to it.
Yeah, it's different. A lot of films are generally like super wide. Like you see a superhero film, you want to see those like big vistas, you want to see everything. But with that 4:3 aspect ratio, it really allows Saltburn to become a character because you see the characters, but you also see like tons of space above them. You can see the high roofs. You can feel the grandeur.
There's a lot of use of negative space that I really enjoyed because the very first thing that I noticed was the aspect ratio and just how pretty the film is, from set design to wardrobe to makeup to lighting to just shot composition. It's almost like Ari Aster met like Robert Eggers, like The Lighthouse meets Midsummer.
Have you seen Lighthouse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that one's like even a smaller aspect ratio. I love it.
I would like to know why. What's the director's name again for this one? I forget.
Her name is Emerald Fennell.
I would like to know why she chose the 4:3 aspect ratio. Because normally when you do that, it's like you're going back in time, like you're doing a period piece or it's a flashback or, it's something to help put the movie in the zone.
Was the movie the entire time in 4:3, even when it went to present day, towards the end of the movie?
Oh, I can't remember.
I believe so. I think it would be odd if they changed it. I didn't notice a change, so I'm going to go ahead and say for sure.
Yeah.
Because this film takes place in the mid-aughts, correct?
2006.
Yes.
When Emerald Fennell actually went to Oxford.
Okay.
Oh.
So she said in an interview I was listening to, she's like, I am Oliver. And probably not in the murdering sociopath way, but she was also saying, like, people pretend that
She said she's Oliver?
Well, she's like, people pretend that they don't lie, or like they wouldn't, purposely pretend to not have cash to like get in closer with somebody. She's like, people have higher ideas of themselves, but everyone's a little more mischievous than they want to admit, which I thought was interesting. I think she probably turned it up to 11 for Oliver, but
yeah. I wonder if she was on scholarship and maybe she was one of the, felt a little outcasted.
Yeah,
in a way.
I'm not sure if she's she comes from a lot of money. I think she has a little bit of privilege because her dad is a jewelry designer, which if you're a jewelry designer, that's like,
right.
I don't imagine a ton of low salary jewelry designers. I'm not sure.
Right. No, you got Flava Flav coming in bi-weekly to get a new clock. Like, they keep you busy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I want a clock.
Give me a clock, jeweled out.
Yeah, make it spin.
I want it to
Mr.
spin,
Flav.
but it's got to be digital. Digital only.
Digital.
No analog.
Blinged out.
Emerald Fennell, she directed, wrote, and co-produced this film. She is an English actress, filmmaker, and writer. She's done a fair amount of acting. She was in Anna Karenina, which I haven't seen, The Danish Girl, and she was in the Barbie movie. She played Midge.
Oh, hey.
Yep, which...
I just watched Barbie.
The director played Midge?
Yeah.
Which character was that?
Midge is that throwaway Barbie that everyone hates. I think it's the pregnant Barbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was the director of Saltburn?
She's the director of Saltburn, but she also acts.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
I just watched Barbie too.
Yeah.
Barbie's great.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that.
I wonder if I like Barbie more than Saltburn.
I honestly fell asleep towards the end of Barbie. I was wipes. But
the last parts of Barbie are the least exciting. It's the, do you ever think about dying? I was like, ooh, Barbie. Hey, Barbie.
How dare you? Hi, Ken. Hi there.
We're all relatively the same age, right?
35.
31. Okay, so not quite, but
we got levels.
We got levels. Yeah, this film I got super excited for because it did take place in 2006, and there is not a lot of movies or anything at all for me to look at that takes place in the aughts when I was going through middle school and high school, and I was super psyched to see that this film was going to be set in that period because now, I mean, I'm old enough for that to be a period piece. It was 15 years ago.
Yeah. I think they nailed the nostalgia on that one too with the music too.
Yeah.
They played Block Party. Block Party. This Modern Love. I love that song. That is such a 2000s band.
Yeah.
In England.
And I've never been to England and I have never been rich. So I don't know what their wardrobe looks like, but they still kind of nailed it. Like the jeans and like the big the baggy shirts. And I was like, that is so spot on the money.
Yep.
So
yeah, Fennell said she had to fight to get Jacob Elordi, who is not Oliver, what's his name? Felix. She had to fight to get him an eyebrow piercing because like, why would you do that? She's like, trust me.
Oh, sure.
my God,
right.
Trust me, he has an eyebrow piercing.
do you know how popular Viva La Bam is right now? All the kids are doing it. It's either that or you get that weird penis pentagram thing tattooed on your chest. One of the two.
Well, the penis pentagram was only for Steve-O.
Oh, that's right. Bam had the heartogram.
He has the regular heartogram.
Yeah.
And one of my greatest achievements in life is not getting a heartogram tattoo.
Hey, you made it.
It was close.
You got through. Yeah.
I somehow survived.
The eyebrow piercing is that was really he killed that look. That was awesome.
Well, if anyone is attracted to men, they are attracted to Jacob Elordi. Everyone has been freaking out about him.
Well, he's built like a Grecian god. He's tall as fuck.
Before this, he acted in Euphoria, which I haven't seen. Also, he was in The Kissing Booth 1, 2, and 3, which I haven't seen, but I know. Wow.
I watched Elvis the Alien watch The Kissing Booth on YouTube, and then he just tears it apart. But now I know. I didn't know that was him.
Yeah, I've not seen I've seen an episode or two of Euphoria, but never seen him act before. But Barry Keoghan, if I'm saying his name right, Keoghan.
Yeah,
Keoghan.
Keoghan.
Oh, that dude is amazing.
He is insane.
Killing of the Sacred Deer.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, dude, that movie is so good too.
Yeah,
he is such a good actor.
Yeah, he's
insane.
I listened to an interview with him the other day, and he is very interesting to look at. And he talks about how he flirts with the camera and like hides things from the camera. He's always like playing with it a little bit. And this film is very much like a cipher with understanding his character, Oliver, because it's all flashback. If it starts off with him talking to Rosamund Pike's character in the bed as she's dying, and he's explaining what happens, and he's lying. I think that this film isn't given enough credit for the unreliable narrator, which is a really cool thing.
Yeah, you're 100% on there, because I went into this movie thinking it was going to be a bloodbath or it was going to be like hypersexual. Like, what is it about this film that's got everybody so riled up? Like, it's got to be really over the top. But in instances,
there's a few scenes that really gets people riled up.
Yeah.
But when it comes to killing and largely a lot of the sex minus that one scene, a lot of it is cut away from.
Actually, I don't know what you mean by that one scene. There's a few.
Well, no, I mean like when sex happens in the film.
Yeah.
Typically it's cut away from, like, we jump out of the shot to a long shot and then it's gone. So you're not seeing like a normal sex scene. You're seeing the innuendo leading into it, and then it's gone. When there's murder, you don't see the act. You see the lead up, and then you see the results, and then
it up for your imagination.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I was always wondering. This is obviously from his point of view. How much of this is real versus what is he fabricating?
He's rewriting his story to be what he wants it to be. And he's painting himself as this big master manipulator, which he was definitely a manipulator. But I think when you watch the movie, there's no way you have sex with a pile of dirt unless you have strong feelings of not healthy love, but some weird love. And if he was just trying to get Saltburn, he wouldn't be whipping his dick out and putting it in dirt.
That's a fair opinion. You know, I thought the entire time. I mean, I've only watched it one time, but I thought the first time watching it was that he was doing it all for Saltburn, and he was just that crazy of a person to go those lengths and to do that. But I also understand that's quite a lot of.
I just
whatever you call that.
I just get I get the feeling that
Wow.
I mean, it's really hard.
Attempted necrophilia or something.
I
like
just
that.
listened to the last podcast episode on necrophilia. He's like, that would be like stage 2 or 3.
And that wasn't even in the script. That was Barry Keoghan's idea.
Yeah,
Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious?
For a closed set,
Yep.
I believe.
Yep. He asked for a closed set, and he's like, I'm going to try something. Yeah.
And then just imagine looking back at that footage, as the editor or director, be like, whoa.
We're going to do another take. Can you clean off your dick?
You know, so he requested a closed set. He had to have told the director. He's not just going to go out there and fuck a grave and not say something.
I don't know, man. He might have said he's going to do something weird. It's also nice, though, to get the shock, because then it's getting her real reaction rather than if she thinks about it or something. But
yeah,
I think he's rewriting history, because it's only after he gets super spurned by Felix that murders start happening. Mostly he was just trying to get closer to Felix. I think he definitely wants the money and like the status. I really love the way the film starts off in Oxford, and it's very drab. It's a lot of, boring classroom stuff, and it's when you get to Saltburn, it's just like the scope just goes big, the colors go big, and I love I forget his name. The other his first friend.
First friend, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, who's in House of the Dragon. If you watch that show, he's Aemond.
I thought he was going to come back at some point.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for him to make an appearance again at Saltburn because
he seems crazy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
He's just banging on the door late at night, like, make me do math. Get out here.
He just, when he screams, it's really good juxtaposition showing Oliver, like, this is who you are right now. This is where your level is. You are the one outcast with this guy who is painted as being a very annoying person. Also, he seems like a genuine friend who just, you don't go have a beer with somebody unless you want to be friends with them. The way I was very hurt the first time that Oliver just ignores him to go to the other table. I'm like, dude,
that is not very cash money.
He doesn't even say, like, I'm going over there. He just fucking does it.
Right? He just said, yeah, Irish goodbye. But he's not even leaving. It's just like an Irish fuck you.
So it's just goodbye to him.
Which is one of the first instances of Oliver being completely obsessed with his ulterior motives, I suppose.
Yeah.
Getting into Felix's life.
He just saw an opportunity. And it definitely, he's making a lot of, plays like deflating Felix's tire.
Right.
Being right where he knows he's going to come. He
all of those surprises, those twists, all of those got me pretty good.
Yeah. Well,
even the I don't know if we're jumping ahead or anything, but the
go wherever you want.
His dad and mom were completely happy and living a very normal life, and
yeah.
What an awkward scene too. I felt so uncomfortable for that whole scene.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
It's like Michael Scott levels of cringe. Like I can watch a man suck semen bathtub water, and that's like, I'm like, okay, that's weird. But watching the fucking how much it hurts Oliver to be in that house and have everything revealed, that was hard to watch for me.
Yeah.
I thought Felix handled it really well. Like he didn't make it as awkward as it could have been.
Yeah.
I thought
he was very nice.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they got out, he's like, fuck you.
Right.
You're done.
Yeah.
That was the biggest twist to me. Not like that he was planning everything. When it's revealed that his parents are just normal people, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. This kid's
That's
real
what
broken.
this dude's fucking crazy. Can I swear? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Semen, bathtub water, grave fucking.
Yeah. But those two scenes, I've just every time people think of Saltburn or have talked to people about the movie, those two scenes come up. So I think even asking for the closed set, and that was all Barry's idea as an actor, that elevated the movie just that much more, and it definitely sticks out in people's minds.
Oh man! Plus the final scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I guess they did like 8 or 9 takes of that.
On the dance floor.
Fuck, man. I got some notes on that song. It's,
Oh my goodness.
where is this at? Sophie Ellis Bextor's 2001 song was featured. As a result, the song received 1.5 million streams on New Year's Eve on Spotify and re-entered the UK singles chart at number 8 with 2.2 million streams in January, marking the song's best ever streaming week.
I love how it's an old song.
I'd never heard it before. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's the most important song in my life.
Absolutely.
Carly is so sick of it.
You just can't stop.
Anywhere
playing
we're
it.
driving, I'm like, yeah, can you play Murder on the Dance Floor again? Just too
So
goddamn
groovy.
catchy.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
I love the intro of that song too. It kind of sets the tone before the bass, the kick drum kicks in. It's just like very sparkly, and then it just kicks into that disco beat or whatever you would call it.
It's tough too because they had like to hit certain spots. Like he has to do a certain move at the stairs for a certain part of the song, which not only are you dancing around naked but you also have to be like, all right, I need to be here when this beat hits, and like
Very choreographed.
yeah.
So you said he did that 9 times
I
about?
think it was like 9 times, something like that.
That's a workout.
Killed it.
Yeah. he let it all out.
Yeah. I saw an interview that he said that someone asked if like how that scene came to be. He's like, oh, I just basically let the cameras roll and I was just feeling it and it was just all in the moment. And then he's just like, yeah, I'm just kidding. It was all choreographed. Not like comparative to the Napoleon Dynamite and dance scene as well.
Yeah. With way more dong.
100% more dong.
I would argue 200%. For sure.
Yep, we got Barry Keoghan. So he's very much, he is the guy right now. He played the Joker in the newest Batman film.
So what was the deal with that film? Did that even come out? Because I thought filming got canceled with COVID, or did that movie?
The Batman with Pattinson, Robert Pattinson.
Okay,
yeah, that came out. There was an extra scene with Barry Keoghan filmed as the Joker, which was on the cutting room floor, because they're like it really deflates the rest of the film to just like shove in a bunch of Joker at the end. It feels a little like too pandery. I'm excited for his Joker performance, though.
Okay, so it hasn't been released yet at all, the new movie.
No, not the Batman 2 or whatever it is. But
and that's the
aren't
one
they
that
also
he's
doing
gonna be the Joker in?
you can see the deleted. You can see the deleted Joker scene of him.
I saw that, yeah. And I was like, I don't remember this scene in the
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson movie.
He's the guy right now.
Yeah, so good.
I think this film is also not given enough credit as a major black comedy. It's fucking hilarious. The way that Lady Elspeth, Rosamund Pike, and Sir James Richard E. Grant, those two parents, like when he comes out, he's like, it is just hot out here. It's as hot as Barbados. Like, it's so funny to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, some people on the Discord, a lot of people didn't like this film. And
Why?
I think it's because they there's a lot of comparisons to like Talented Mr. Ripley and, you know, Eat the Rich.
Yeah, well, once you realize that the story is just a Talented Mr. Ripley done again, the twist of what Oliver's up to is spoiled completely, because it is a carbon copy almost essentially of the same film with the same, like, is he in love with that man or does he just want his life? What is going on here? Like the way Matt Damon and Jude Law were in Talented Mr. Ripley. And I know a lot of films, everything's borrowed or stolen. I mean, every story at the base is essentially the same premise and problem and reaction. But when you get a story like The Talented Mr. Ripley, it just doesn't feel like there's enough legs there to do that story again and do it justice. So initially, that's why I was really sour on it, because it just didn't seem like an inventive idea.
See, I haven't seen The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Me neither.
So.
Well, you guys have seen Saltburn, so you've pretty much seen it.
So now we're going to have the same opinion about The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah,
We're going to watch it and be like,
this movie's copy of Saltburn.
this is horrible.
There's less dick and grave fucking and bathroom sucking in Talented Mr. Ripley, though.
Good.
There is a lot more Philip Seymour Hoffman, though.
I like
Which is
him.
a good thing.
But I would say that I really enjoyed watching this film, just cinematically, if that's a word, cinematically.
Yeah.
It was a very beautiful, visually awesome, and the actors were all great. Do you think this movie was kind of centered around the Eat the Rich theme, or is it more centered around Oliver and his devious plot to either fall in love and get Felix at the end, or Saltburn at the end?
I don't think it's as much as Eat the Rich film as people say it is. I think it's more just an intense character study about obsession, desire, and sociopathy. It's about Oliver, and I don't think it was original goals was to get in there and kill them all.
No, I think he's an opportunist. And when he realized he was going to lose it all, I think ideally what he wanted was Felix. I think he is in love with Felix. Not only, I wouldn't say in love, actually more obsessed, because not only does he want to be with him, he wants to be that guy. He wants to be him.
What did he say in the beginning of the film? I wasn't in love with him, or did he say he was?
I loved him.
I loved him.
But was I in love with him? Something like that.
And he doesn't answer that question.
No, and that's really what you kind of, when you watch it again, that's kind of what's on your mind the whole time. Like, how much of this actually happened? I there's one shot that really stuck out to me, and it's in the maze, which symbolism.
Symbolism.
And right behind Felix is a giant minotaur. So that's just going straight back to the minotaur in the maze, and that's like who he has to defeat to, achieve his quest, if you were going to go back to like mythology. And it's not painted as like enemies, Farley a little bit, but you can see him slowly weasel people squeeze them out of the frame with like, what's her name?
Elspeth? Verona?
Poor Dear Pamela by Carey Mulligan.
Oh, the original...
The freeloader.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She was the first person to leave Saltburn, right?
Yeah, and he just very slyly starts talking to Lady Elspeth. First, he wins her over by saying, because you're so fucking beautiful.
Yeah, that was
She's
smooth.
like,
that was smooth.
Yeah. That's like a move right there. What if he offended her? But he's the one who convinces her to push her out. And then, one of the things that I think people were upset, like, the family wasn't, you didn't hate him, and Oliver was like more hateable than they are. And to me, I'm like, they're all pretty bad. Felix is the only one who just seems kind of more nice and innocent about stuff. But they hear that Pamela died from suicide, and Lady Elspeth's like, oh, she'll do anything for attention. I'm like, Jesus, lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It seemed like they were so far removed from a lot.
They have no perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living in a giant...
Which way's London from here?
Yeah.
You're in fucking England. But he squeezes her out, and then Farley gives him a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Farley, he's a dick too, man.
Right. No, really didn't like him from the jump.
The first thing besides making by Jaeger bombs at the graduation, he's like, "No, it's a rental. Your sleeves."
Right.
And he's just calling him out like, "You'll never belong."
It's like, you're almost there.
Yeah.
He's like,
almost there, Oliver. Yeah.
well, he's doing essentially the same thing Oliver is doing, just not as maliciously or as intensely, because he is freeloading off of Saltburn, and he does want to belong there. And seeing Oliver come in threatens his station, so immediately he sees Oliver as an antagonist. And I felt like he was more of an antagonist throughout this film the entire time, until I realized how much I fucking hated Oliver.
Right.
Yeah, well, when at the karaoke scene, amazing, fucking awesome. Oh, when Oliver's like, I don't know the words, and the Richard E. Grant character, that's the best part. They're on the screen. So
Totally.
also, I can't imagine having to go up and sing a song you've never heard. But he's harmonizing with it well. Yeah. I don't know if it's accurate or not. I don't know the original song.
Which song did he sing?
Something about
It's from Rent. It's from the movie Rent, I want to say.
how you buy me all these things.
Yeah.
and
You pay my rent.
Yeah, you pay my rent. Yeah.
Oh, and that's just brutal. And that's like, I hate Farley.
And what does he say? What does Oliver say? Like, this is your song too?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Come
Yeah,
up and help me finish it.
Which is clever. Yeah. It's one thing that I still don't know how to rectify. Mm-hmm. Oliver's just profound ability to just sex people up.
He's a homewrecker.
I mean, first, if you're trying to get with Felix or be close to Felix, and you're just munching on period blood outside your window. Munching, yes, Carly. I'm a vampire. It's okay. Why that's a hard scene for me to like. If he's trying to just love Felix, why would he do that? Maybe that's how he thinks he's going to get closer. Maybe he doesn't know if Felix would be interested romantically.
What a roller coaster.
Yeah. Maybe testing the waters to see if Felix is jealous when he finds out.
Maybe that's his closest way to be in the family.
And I don't know if he has...
He's also obsessed with, like, juices.
Yeah.
And...
Bath water.
Blood. Semen. Like, that dude wants it.
Dude, somebody
Gonna get it.
somebody just needs to give him a Gatorade. Get him a red Gatorade.
This guy.
Could Felix come in it first?
Get him the white Gatorade.
Barry Keoghan said it was milk in the bathtub that he drank.
Ugh.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, dude.
For the filming purposes. Yes.
That somehow makes it more gross.
Oh. Yeah.
Ugh.
It's like warm milk.
Bathtub drains.
Ugh. It's probably not hard for him to sex up all these characters as well, because you got to think about it. Like, they're vapid, rich. Like, I see them as kind of like living in excess all the time. And when you have characters like that, like they don't drink a whole bunch in the film. They do drink though. There's drugs. Like, they're looking to get their high, feel good as often and as they can. So when you have some new guy come through and he's like, might be that time of the month, but I'm a vampire. Like, well, who knows?
Yeah.
Not gonna miss a shot.
It definitely seemed like afterwards he was just doing all of that for Felix for sure. Yeah.
The way he has some sort of sex stuff with Farley, and wow, stunning cinematography. Just like those profound shadows, just like their two faces. And his is just all black. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
They definitely had a really interesting relationship with each other of hatred, but also that, like how?
Oliver is so smart because those two have a class together, and the teacher, he says something, and Oliver's like, "Oh, I read them all." He's like, "You read all 50 books?" And he calls Farley out a few times about something like, I don't know if it's Midsummer's Night's Dream, or they're talking about some literature, and he's like, "Nah, you're wrong." And the father, Sir James, is like, "Oh, yeah." Right. Oliver's a very smart guy,
which also almost makes me think that, I mean, the entire time he knew what he was doing. So maybe I don't know if this makes it more of a case for Oliver's ultimate goal of getting Saltburn, the castle, which didn't. Yeah, maybe he was just playing on the psyche of everybody and the just human emotions that way. But what a fucking crazy character.
Yeah. Either way, he comes out very well.
Was this movie filmed at a real castle?
Yeah, that's a real location. They made sure to find one that wasn't featured in other films before. They wanted it to be very new. And they actually, like, I know Rosamund Pike lived there while they filmed it. She just had a room and she slept there. And I know Jacob Elordi's like, we would get lost. You'd find new rooms like every other day that you didn't know were there.
That's
crazy.
Insane.
Old money, man. To the fact that he's just he can just pay Oliver off and say how much you want.
Right.
I'm guessing he probably asked for like 7 figures, but I don't know.
Shoot high. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was the movie like just scenes of hanging out? Were those in the castle as well?
Everything, yeah, it was all.
Everything was,
and Oxford for the beginning, but
right.
And I know Emerald Fennell said a lot of the cinematography was like very specific. There's like one shot in the morning after the murder, after the party, and it's Oliver standing, and you can just see the aftermath of like the party. You can see like tables knocked over, and everything is just placed so specifically, so that they were like, all right, this table 20 feet over there, because it's painting a picture. It's
framed up, yeah.
Framed up. They're like, for the scene by the lake or the little pond, we made sure the pontoon was right there, and her hair had to just be touching the water. Very specific shots. It's just a stunning film. There's anytime like the dining room table, there's a shot where Oliver's reflection is like the focus is on the table. It's his reflection of his face, and it's just all this crazy lights. The party is just sumptuous. There's so many like big red lights, and I know Emerald Fennell's like, we wanted all those red lights because we wanted to feel like he's inside the family at this point. He's inside their bodies, and their bodies are inside him.
One thing that bothered me was the murder of Felix. The aftermath of them not showing his body. I thought that I remember thinking, what happened? Like, how did he die? Was he stabbed, or was he, how was his body found? But later we find out that it was poison
Cocaine.
in the bottle that he put.
My understanding was it was a severe amount of cocaine in the bottle, and he knew Felix would drink it, and he left it there. And God, that breakfast scene is so funny.
Oh my god!
Eat the goddamn pie!
right.
And she's just pouring wine over the glass.
That shot is haunting because she starts pouring and they cut away, and then when they cut back, her cup is overflowing and it's just spilling, and she's just got like that 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah.
Yeah, just obsessed
And
with
it's very close. Timing of these shots is fantastic too, because it's almost like a blip sometimes. It's like a little glimpse at somebody, and it sticks in your mind. And before you can even register what you saw, it's spooky because they move on to the next one.
Next time you watch it, just watch it as a comedy. The butler just trying to close the curtains before they drag the body by is so funny.
Right.
I did find that pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, there's so many moments where Oliver's how he stands out, it doesn't belong. The whole like egg scene is so awkward for everybody. Like you just
right.
not the eggs. And then he orders eggs, and they're like, "What's wrong?" He's like, I can't eat runny eggs. And they're all just like, they all stop. They don't know how to respond to just a very normal situation.
Right.
You went to a restaurant, your food's a little wrong. It's just painfully awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially after I flip the table and cuss out the waitress. That always doesn't go over well.
Oh, man.
He's such an awkward looking guy. Is
Oliver or the butler?
Oliver.
Yeah.
Is there has he ever gone into like what his background is as far as like his looks, or maybe like if there's any deficiency or something that
No, it's just he was blessed with a face that people like to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
and he knows how to use it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I liked how at the end of the film he looked so much older. I think it was his haircut, really.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a
like,
15-year
oh my God.
time jump, which I didn't pick up the first time I watched it. But yeah, it's been 15 years from when he leaves Saltburn to runs into her at the cafe.
It was interesting because they portrayed it as in the middle of COVID too. People were wearing masks.
Yep.
That felt very real.
Yeah. It's this is a real world. We are in the real world where people do eat bathtub water. Like
Yeah, like that happened.
Yeah, and another thing that's kind of never addressed too much after the death of Felix, when he is talking with Venetia in the bathtub, he leaves the razor blade there and kind of nudges her, but it doesn't show if she did it or he did it, which I could see either way.
And I could see either way too. She was pretty wrecked up.
Yeah, there's
a mess.
There's a small little layer of incest in the film too. Felix mentions at one point, it's like, I fingered my cousin over there once on accident. And like, it's that brother-sister relationship is a little odd. The way like at the party, they're just like sitting on each other. It feels a little, but old money's weird. Those people don't have the same social interactions as everyone else. So maybe there's not, but he did finger his cousin, he said, so.
Weirdo.
Yeah, fucking strange. But yeah, there is the time jump. He is murdering the family or getting them murdered somehow.
Yeah.
He's positioned himself in the cafe to run into Lady Elspeth. I do love the shot where he's just fucking jibber jabbering on the computer.
Yeah.
Pretending to work.
I have a question. Were you guys at that point still rooting for Oliver, or were you on the fence, or were you completely anti-Oliver?
The moment the bathtub scene happened and he drank the jizz water, I was like, I don't know how I can root for you. That made me so uncomfortable. I think I took it personally.
Sure.
Yeah, it's some films you're like, I am this person. And you're
John Wick for me.
Frodo Baggins and Aragorn. I'm like, I'm that guy. Yeah. And at this point, I was like, I'm watching somebody else.
I'm checking out.
I am.
Right.
fascinating character to look at, though.
Well,
I'd like
to
to
your
hear
point earlier, I think all the other characters were just so flawed in their own ways that I think I didn't see myself necessarily 100% in Oliver, but I was definitely like when he was getting Saltburn and kind of the whole plot reveals itself, and then he has that whole dance sequence. Definitely at the end, I was Team Oliver. Like, oh, this was a fucking awesome movie. Like,
the song is so good. You're like, I'm back.
the plan was so intimate and so nailed that I couldn't help but to root for the guy, but
Yeah, and
still a sociopath.
the time jump is a little odd too. I know I've heard some people complaining like, well, what happened? Like, what happened? It's like, those 15 years don't matter. Oliver had money. He went and lived his life. But the moment he saw Sir James passed away in the news, he's like, all right, I have an opportunity. Because he knows James was not going to back down. And I don't think he saw a way to get rid of James that would keep him there. But yeah, he had his in.
Played the long game.
And he's just completely alone at the end too.
Yeah,
I don't think that necessarily bothers him though at that point.
I agree.
Like, I think that it seems, with that final dance sequence where, he's naked. So, he's got nothing to hide anymore. He's being the truest version of himself that we've seen in this film so far. Like, you can't get much more open and honest than that. And he looks to be having a great time. And he's got they do the whole thing where, like, when someone passes, you throw the rock in the river.
Yeah.
And you see that he has 3 rocks at the end on the table. He's got Felix, and then he's got the sister and the mom, right?
And if it's placed on top of the super creepy dancing puppet
house.
Right.
Which, that's him they're the puppets. He got them dancing for him.
Yeah. Collecting them.
And he sets the rocks on top of there. He sets the last one down. It's kind of like closing the book on his journey. The worst show I ever saw.
Oh, man.
We're going to take a pit stop here, folks. We're going to just talk about music for a second.
Yeah.
The worst show I ever saw was Flock of Seagulls at Summerfest. And I love I Ran So Far Away. I love Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I love 80s music. Like, I Ran So Far Away. I'm like, this song is the dopest dope I've ever smoked. And
is that the song that's I Run So Far Away?
Yeah.
Couldn't get away.
That's Flock of Seagulls?
It's Flock of Seagulls.
Okay.
And it was the worst concert I've ever been to. Just super boring. The guy was like kind of mad at the audience for not knowing their other obscure music. And at the end, he's like, if you want another song, I need you to admit you're all aliens and go crazy. And no one was cheering. They did like spots for everyone to cheer, and no one was cheering because it was so bad. Awkward. And he threatened to not play it, and then he played it, and everyone's like, yeah, okay, this is the one song we actually wanted.
Right.
Versus when we saw Men Without Hats at Summerfest, they played the safety dance 3 times. They knew what the audience wanted.
Right.
Their encore, they're like, we're going to play a new song, but it was just safety dance to a different beat.
Nice.
My buddy Joe was crying. It was so beautiful.
It's kind of like Read the Room, like, goodness.
Yeah.
Getting angry at the audience is always a cringe moment for everybody. It's not.
It's not going to work out.
Yeah.
The audience, you need them.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You can't threaten an audience unless you're a stand-up comedian.
Went to a metal show in Pontiac, Michigan when I was 17. It was between The Buried and Me, Job for a Cowboy, and a band called Wilson. And I had no idea who Wilson was, and they were the opener. They had a projector behind them, and like Rob Zombie projects shit on the screen behind him when he plays, and it's always kind of gnarly because he'll like throw some of his movie stuff in there, and it's like, it's over the top, but that's his thing.
Yeah.
Wilson just had like dead bodies and like fucked up shit playing, like rotting meat. And it was like the most disgusting, like, it's a metal show, we get it, but like, I don't want to look at this.
Yeah.
Thank God the guitarist, or something happened with his guitar. I don't think he just broke a string, but like something happened with the guitar and he just left. So after like 2 songs, they were just gone. Job for a Cowboy came on. We're like, all right, That's cool. He played in 2 Minute Machine right away and drank 2 bottles of JMO. I was like, all right, here we go.
Damn.
Then Between the Buried and Me played for like 2 hours to make up for it. I was like, all right, good show. That first band, though, kick them off the bill.
Yeah,
Get them out of here.
Why would they just hop off?
I don't know. It seemed like they were mad, too. Like something happened during their set, and they were like, fuck this. And they just walked off. And I was like, can you at least turn the dead bodies off now? Because they just left the projector going.
Running.
And it is the weirdest social situation you've ever been in. Just standing in a room with people looking at dead bodies on a screen.
Yeah.
How do we react to this?
You need a beer?
I was 17, so I was high out of my mind. I'm like, this is bad right now. I don't like this.
Make it go away.
How about you, Siggy? If I can call you. Still saying Siggy sounds weird.
No, you're good. You're good. worst concert I've ever been to?
If you want to say it.
Let me think.
I'm not worried about offending Flock of Seagulls myself, so I know they're big fans.
Are they though?
Big fans of the podcast.
Big fans.
People would have cheered if he still had the haircut. I'm just saying.
He's bald. He didn't have a lot of options. A wig?
Yeah, do the wig.
The fact that nothing stands out, or maybe
Yeah, dude. Nah, man. I feel like I've seen a lot of good stuff. I don't know.
Well, that's good.
I guess I remember this was probably more my fault, but I remember going to a snow show like a few years ago at the Rave, and I was like front row, but front right in front of the speakers. No ear protection. And then we stayed the entire time, and I just remember feeling wrecked. Just
sounds horrible.
Yeah, that's not like more of the artist, but more just like that was so unenjoyable. But also, I didn't really realize that the sound would affect my brain that much. Yeah, it was gnarly.
That's the scariest thing. When I saw Chapped Lips and Diet Light at Bremen, and Bremen's loud already.
Oh, dude, yeah, man.
And I didn't wear anything. And I left, and like my head was vibrating. And for like 3 days, I just had ringing in my ears. And I'm like, is this forever? Like I was freaking out. I had a tough week.
It could be forever eventually if you keep doing that.
Oh, now I have an entire box of earplugs at home.
I met somebody. I was talking to somebody on Friday at one of the shows that said they were at that show, and they're like, "Yeah, I am forever bringing ear protection because I went to that Shuby Diet Light Chap Lips show and didn't wear ear protection." Yeah, that was a loud fucking show.
Because I've been to Bremen like 1,000 times now, and I never wore it, and I was always fine.
Sure.
But for some reason, they just
crank it up to 10.
Yeah, that
was a fun show.
I am an earplugs person myself. I could never go back. It was, I don't know it was some show at the Cactus Club, and it was painful. Like, I'm glad that venues like all sell earplugs now as well. Plus, the music sounds better. It's clear.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, I'm so pro earplugs because you can hear the music. You can actually kind of get lyrics as well out.
Yeah,
it's much better.
You can actually hear lyrics, which is
levels it out. Yeah,
that to me is the strangest test of the audio of a place. If I can hear a song I've never heard before and know what the lyrics are, I don't know who we saw the other day. It was Well and Good at Ope. And it was the opener for them. And I couldn't understand a word he was saying.
Oh, Logan?
Yeah. And it's just like, Ope's got a big cavernous spot.
Yeah.
It's a good spot for a party, but like, I just couldn't hear any of the words. And if you can hear the words, that's when I'm like, oh, wow, that's weird. It's nice, but odd.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's most venues can't get that at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which then you kind of go back to the music or the music that's out on the internet or wherever. You can really take it in.
Went to Shank Hall for the first time recently.
Oh, yeah.
Saw Robert Ellis play, and it was just him with a guitar or a piano. He swapped back and forth.
Nice.
Super small, like 40, 50 people there. Everyone was sitting at tables. I'm like, this is the ideal concert for me as a 35-year-old man.
Totally.
Yeah.
Shank is cool.
It's a cool spot. Yeah. It feels like a nice old smoky jazz bar or something.
I still haven't been there.
I don't think a lot of music that I generally listen to would play there. I mean, that's not where you're going to go see like raucous local music.
Definitely seems like more of an older crowd. My parents really like Shank Hall. They see a lot of bands that they know or they follow.
If you played there, your parents would be like, finally, he's made it.
They actually don't really care, but
When I was working for a brewery in the Twin Cities, one of our salesmen, he just mentioned, he just tweeted out something like, "Oh, the beer, like the lines at this bar need to be cleaned. It doesn't taste good," and they got super pissed.
Oh yeah,
because you are Mr. Indeed Brewing and you are online calling our place and our line shit. Why would we ever have your product there? And he had to do like an apology tour.
He did that about the brewery he worked at, or he was delivering beer somewhere?
At a bar that we had beer at, and he was just saying the lines need to be cleaned. This is horrible. And he was right, but also he got in trouble.
I would never do that.
Not the right way to go about it.
What you do is you say, "This is great. We love your spot," and then you talk to your friends, and you edit it out of the podcast.
Like, yeah, those lines.
Yeah,
Spooky.
If you go and you get like a craft beer at a dive bar, it is going to be the least clean lines, the oldest IPA you've ever drank, and it's going to taste bad. And that's just like a sweeping blanket statement, unless you're getting like, I don't know, Spotted Cow might be the safest because that's people will drink that. But
yeah, if you're ever wondering and you're out with me and we're at a dive bar and they have like Zombie Dust on tap, which is one of my favorite beers, and I'm like, yeah, just give me like a bottle of High Life. That should be a pretty good indicator, especially if I give you the little side glance, good bottle.
Get the bottle.
Get the bottle.
Yeah.
So I guess shout out to
sorry.
what is this?
Here,
Blue Owl Brewing. I chose this one because I liked how it said chocolate and orange, but that definitely caught my eye as well as the can. Sour Imperial Stout.
A sour Imperial Stout.
Tasty. I like it.
Yeah, I haven't even tried it yet. It's got chocolate and orange. It's called Adjunct Professor Black.
Adjunct Professor Black from Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah. Thanks, Ryan. These Blue Owl Brewing, they're all sours and they're all fucking cuckoo bananas.
Oh my God.
They do the weirdest stuff. And I asked you before you came, it's like, do you want IPAs, sours, dark beers? And
you did say a weird sour.
Well, but then I was looking at them like they're all together. They're all like crossing together. Double dry hopped hazy sour IPA stout. It's like, calm down. Too many adjectives. My brain hurts. But yeah, I haven't actually tried it yet.
I like it. As I was saying before, not a big sour fan. That's not usually my first choice, but this is very tasty.
The sour is subtle. Yeah. And you don't smell any like that. You only get like stout smells off of it.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Blue Owl doesn't miss.
They don't.
They do not miss.
It's almost makes me angry how good they are.
Yeah.
How come no one else can do it? Why are only you doing it?
They're from Austin?
Yeah.
Where Blue Owl is from?
About once a year, this magical box arrives in the mail from Ryan, and it's just full of delicious beers.
Nice.
And then we just drink like kings,
Yeah.
like we live in Saltburn.
Yeah.
Fix my eggs. See, I wouldn't be like Oliver, like awkward about it. Like, can I get some fucking scrambled eggs done right? No, I wouldn't do that, but I'd feel really weird in that situation.
I'd be great. I'd be like, no eggs. Just no eggs then.
Oh yeah, we wear suits to lunch. Yeah,
Lunch, wear your suit.
yeah, we'll get you a suit.
Right.
Yeah, it's like what? I can't imagine. I wear a suit like twice a year.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weddings.
I bought my my suit for the wedding from this awesome thrift store down in Kenosha.
Nice.
And now it is just my suit for everything,
Right.
which is perfect.
Just need one suit. What color? Black?
Beige?
And
We went for a
beige
different color
Yeah.
for the wedding, but it just, I put it on and you know.
Yep.
And we're back to Saltburn, everybody. We don't have much left to talk about with Saltburn. We hung dong. We ate the period blood. We drank the bathwater, and that gravestone got fucked.
Yeah.
Hard, yeah.
But go ahead.
Is Saltburn? Is there a reason why it's called Saltburn? Is that kind of a theme within everything?
I don't know.
Saltburn, because you can rub salt on
Salt on your wounds. Yeah, maybe that's the worst thing you could do with a burn is put salt on it.
Wasn't that kind of like a ice challenge or like a cinnamon challenge where you would put
Yeah, we
salt
did that in
on
high
and
school.
you would rub it on and you
put
get like a gnarly
I did not know
burn.
this. This is sadistic.
You put salt on an ice cube.
Oh, the ice, yeah.
Yeah, like that melts ice, and then you hold it to your skin, and it'll burn you. And we used to do it in high school. That and Smileys, where you like light a lighter, hold it for forever, and then stab somebody with it.
I mean, if I had to,
Smiley.
I didn't read anything or hear anything. But if you just break it down, salt. I mean, this isn't a sweet film. It's a very flavorful film. You add salt to food and it tastes better. It burns you. That's if I had to just break it down by words. That's all I would come up with because the location isn't actually called Saltburn.
The castle?
Yeah,
Right.
It is in the movie,
yeah,
but not in the real world.
life, right?
I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those things that just sounds good. It's like the movie Fargo takes place not in Fargo. Almost the whole film is not in Fargo. But the Coen brothers are like, it sounded cool.
Right.
Yeah. That's all.
I would like to think that going back to the ice and the salt challenge, Oliver, like very like you wouldn't think that it would leave such a wound on you. So maybe Oliver is the salt burn, but kind of just burning everybody without knowing it
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
At first you're like, oh, this tastes good. And then you're dead.
Exactly.
Thanks,
One of my
Oliver.
favorite scenes of this movie was the scene where it's kind of like the coming of age scene where everything is good, like right before the first climax. I feel like there's so many climaxes and twists in this movie, which is really cool. But the scene where they're all playing tennis and they're just drinking and it feels like summer is just really in the
vibes.
swing. Yeah. And I really liked how it was just in like an old castle, but also they were just 2006 modern day, just like hanging out in this old sort of atmosphere.
Yeah,
that was a really cool juxtaposition.
They have $2 streamers at their birthday party in the biggest fucking castle ever. Like that dichotomy is interesting.
Well, Amazon wasn't really prevalent. You had to hit Party City.
Party City.
Is that in London?
That's why she was asking where London was.
Yeah.
Posh.
I need streamers.
It's as hot as Barbados. I could just watch the actors' performances. Everyone is just so broad and interesting. The lines are just so well written. She is an Oscar winner for Promising Young Woman, the film she did before Saltburn. I don't know if any of you saw that. Mm-mm. And it's another one of those.
Heard about that one.
It's painted. Minor spoilers for this film. Jump forward a little bit if you don't want to. But the film is painted as she lures men who are trying to take advantage of her, and it looks like she's just going to revenge murder them. And it's much quieter than that. She is putting herself in situations, but it's almost like a sucker punch because the audience thinks they're going to get one thing, and when it doesn't happen, it's kind of frustrating at first. And that movie also has a pretty big twist, which it's good. It's very good. But I think Emerald Fennell, she knows what she's doing and she's getting what she wants. It's just interesting how many people were frustrated. Sometimes you watch something and you're getting something very different out of it. Like this season of True Detective, the internet's hating it. And
It's
I'm like,
losing me.
I'm loving it, man.
It's losing me so hard.
Did you watch the episode last night?
Yeah. No, last night.
Oh.
I thought it came out tonight. Did they do it because of the Super Bowl?
Yep.
Oh.
Or it came out Friday. Yeah.
I did not know that. I worked all weekend though.
But it's just weird when I think expectations are really dangerous for people when they're watching anything. I try to avoid trailers completely if possible.
Nothing worse than a trailer that basically lays out the entire movie.
Yeah. Oh, so this happens then, and
Yeah.
it's like you've seen every like set piece and moment in the film.
Yep.
Instead of just give me a mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going into a movie without even knowing what to expect is always the best way to go into it, for sure.
Yeah.
Saltburn, I did see the trailer and I did not think that it was going to be how it was, though, which I was very
I haven't seen the trailer.
I
Does it give a lot of the story out, or is it mostly vibes?
kind of just like vibes, I would say.
I haven't seen it yet either.
Creepy.
This film's
it's kind of got a thriller aspect to it, but I had no idea it was centered around like this.
I just imagined dancing zombies when you said that, and I know that's not what you meant.
Dancing zombies.
You said thriller aspect to it. I'm just dancing zombies. Interesting.
Kinda, yeah.
It's
I got that feeling to it.
Yeah, it's a wild film.
Yeah, I would love to watch it again because, like you were saying, going back. So you mentioned this earlier. Do you think that rewatching the movie that you're really watching a painting of Oliver's perception? Like, do you think that a lot of the scenes or the story is just made up in Oliver's head from his perception, or do you think that these are the real accurate events?
I think that they're all accurate events. When he is doing the reveal at the end where he actually did have money in his wallet and all of that,
Creepy.
I could see some of that just being him changing how it went down, but I imagine everything actually happened. It's what they don't show, like when they don't show the bathtub, what happened to her. Things that he leaves out in the story, I think are very telling, but it's his narration that is what's giving him away a little bit.
I don't even necessarily believe it's so hard to believe what's true because I don't necessarily believe that he had any money or that he was responsible for Felix's tire. Like that could be him now that he's telling the story.
He's trying
in retrospect being like, oh no, I schemed this whole thing. Whereas I think maybe he was a super lonely dude who fell in with the group, fell in love with Felix, obviously fucked up his chance, and then saw an opportunity to get in. Not taking anything away from how devious or smart his character is, but I could see a lot of it to be like inflating his ego while he's telling this story to the mom on her deathbed.
I think one of the key components of him is a scorned love after he was abandoned by Felix after Felix pushed him away. He is just so wounded. That's when he really starts to lash out. And I think that's why he is revising some of the history in the story is like, I never loved him and I did these things for this reason. I think that's him just trying to make himself feel better, give himself some catharsis because he's still so hurt and wounded by Felix. He desperately loved Felix. Not healthy love, but there was profound love because he's so broken up. He fucks the grave. Like he can try and say like he never loved him all he wants. You don't do that if ever, but especially if you didn't really love him. If it was all just about Saltburn, he wouldn't have done that.
Right.
He's not, because that's not for anyone but him.
Yeah, and the only other thing that I think you could rationally chalk it up to is like dominance. But
I was thinking the same thing. It could have also been like not a romantic.
Yeah, of like a power.
Like a fuck you, Felix.
For rejecting me.
Yeah.
I think if anything, the more sensual, like he loved that guy.
Yeah.
Loved is the drinking the bathwater and licking the drain. That is much more intimate in my mind.
Yeah, that is
nasty.
And that's just before he uses the term vampire, which he's not a vampire, but it makes sense wanting to imbibe some of someone's essence to get closer to them. He wants to belong, and he thinks if he ingests some of them, he probably liked that she was on her period. He wanted the blood.
Yeah.
He wanted Felix's essence.
I think he was just...
It sounds better than cum water.
To put it plainly.
Yeah, to put it plainly. This movie made $21 million at the box office. It is what I love about cinema. It's polarizing and it's making discussions happen. I think that's such a good thing. It's not like I saw the new Marvel film. Wow, it changed my life. No,
Yeah.
there's some colorful explosions. This one, if people are like, I love it or I hate it or did you see it? People are talking, which I think is the tent pole for good art.
Right. Makes you feel something at the end of the day.
When people see your shows and they're thinking about your music and they're talking about it with their friends, like First time Tyler introduced me to your music, he's like, you got to fucking check this dude out.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And yeah, it's good art is causing discussion. So I love that people don't like this movie.
Yeah.
And one thing that I don't think anyone could deny is the cinematography. It's just beautiful.
Oh my God, yeah.
She's sitting on that chair waiting for outside Oliver's window, and he's up at the top of the stairwell, all silhouette, all in black. Just the framing, the positioning. It's movie making in its purest form. Mm-hmm. I love it.
And you get different feelings from the different locations. Like you said, like Oxford is very drab. It's very claustrophobic and, kind of suffocating. Whereas you get to Saltburn, it's open. It's bigger than you. There's a lot of negative space. And then even in those little flashbacks of Felix, when he's thinking back about Felix, and it's almost like a photo montage where it's those really close, short shots of him over and over, like he's like flexing, laying by a lake. It looks like a fucking Tommy Hilfiger commercial or something.
It really does.
Yeah.
Like that.
Just sweat and hair and body.
Mm-hmm. When you see those shots for the first time, like it felt like a memory. Like she nailed it. And the entire composition of this entire film. I mean, that's probably why I kept watching, even when I was annoyed at the movie.
Right.
Plus, I wanted to see what everybody was so freaking out about.
Right.
Once he fucks the dirt, I'm like, okay. That was it, huh?
I think one of the reasons people were freaking out about it is just Jacob Elordi. I just saw thirst when people were talking about it. Just thirsty. Like, give me his bathwater.
And for Oliver being the main character, we could all maybe relate in some deep, dark way.
Yeah, it's Walter White. You're seeing a character at first you're with and you agree with, and eventually they keep making decisions, and at some point you have to cut your ties with them. That's one step too far, and you realize, oh, we're watching a bad guy this whole time. I don't have much else to say about the film personally before we rank it, and I loved it. I would watch it again.
I unfortunately saw where it was going with the talented Mr. Ripley angle, so the turn and the twist was a little spoiled for me.
Interesting.
I think that's why I was so cold on it initially, just out of frustration that I was kind of robbed of it. But overall, I've warmed up to it quite a bit, and I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm super psyched people are talking about a movie constantly.
Yeah.
That I would watch it again knowing what I know now and some of the behind the scenes stuff that I didn't realize, like the fact that he wanted the clothes set to fuck the grave. Like, that is just, what other tidbits of information can I get from this film to maybe change my perspective on a second watch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I freaking love this movie because there's just so much. It's just a ride. Like I mentioned before, it's a roller coaster, and going in with no expectations and just sitting along as kind of just being narrated through. It's just really fun. Lots of twists and turns, and for me, it was just such lots of surprises, and how the characters all kind of develop and interact with each other is just extremely interesting and shot beautifully. Yeah, I love this movie.
Very stylish.
Very stylish, very nostalgic.
Sexy,
2006,
stylish.
very sexy.
Yeah, very nostalgic.
I really love Barry Keoghan. Keoghan. Man, I thought that guy just killed the role. So I'm a big fan of that guy.
Yeah, he crushed it for sure.
He's the guy right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even after watch Killing of a Sacred Deer, that movie is wild too.
Yeah.
Just a weird character, man. Very few people could play it and nail it.
We both went to film school, and there is just like the je ne sais quoi of why is Brad Pitt a great actor? Like, there's a million great actors that can do performances, but some people, like Jack Nicholson, they just do something a little weird or different, and they're just magnetic. And Barry Keoghan, he is like hard to read and fascinating to watch.
Yeah,
which is really good.
It's like listening to like a really talented rapper when they freestyle or they cipher. It's like effortless. They just kind of hit the syllables and move the rhymes throughout the beat, and it's like, how the fuck do you do that?
Yeah,
I've always equated to like acting, like we saw out of I'm not going to even attempt his name. Oliver's actor.
Barry Keoghan.
Barry. I'll call him Barry.
Keoghan.
When you see somebody act like that, and now hearing more about what he wanted to do on the set, it's no different. Like, you seamlessly move through a performance, and the subtle things that you do to get your character over with an audience or make them really loathe you or wonder what you're going to do next. Like, it is the same skill. You're moving the story forward without any flaw, and it's just kind of...
I have a cool tidbit for you, too. I remember hearing in an interview, Barry said that he had about 5 or 6 journals just filled up with, like, mannerisms of Oliver. So he would study these journals that he made and just kind of like what situation. So basically he had memorized if something were to happen, this is how Oliver would react. It's just like weird acting. You're literally becoming another person without thinking about it. It's such a talent. It's crazy.
He'd probably be a really talented writer for like screenplays too, because once you get a character fleshed out, I only have a few that it's like that, where someone could give me a scenario and I would tell you exactly how Ben or Violet would act. There's 2 characters that I wrote for a film a long time ago that I just have fleshed out. And for an actor to get to that point where it's like, I'm just them now.
Right.
George R.R. Martin, who writes the Game of Thrones books, they're like character chapters, and he says, sometimes it's very hard. I have to spend a couple days thinking about Arya Stark before I can understand how she reacts in those situations. In like writing for Tyrion Lannister, he's like, it's very like, it takes me 3 days to come up with one clever quip that Tyrion just does on the fly. But it's very much, I mean, that's acting, writing like that. When we have to know that character intimately and be that character. He has to be a mom. He has to be the Hound, you know?
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah. Just to really put yourself in that person's life.
I can barely be myself.
That's the scary thought with acting is when you're trying to master being other people, I feel like there's a distinct line you can easily lose yourself in.
I forget.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, but John Cusack, like, I guess at parties, he is just the quietest, like, weirdest guy. And he plays, like, you know, big fun characters. He's like, I'm not myself on those characters.
Wild.
Yeah.
As you see them and you're like, oh, this guy's gonna be a fun time. But you know,
and you know, like Robin Williams or Jim Carrey, some of the greatest comedians are the most depressed people, and they're just pretending not to be and thriving on making people laugh, so they don't have to address some of the sadness that actually is happening. They're also like, Jim Carrey's happy now, but I know like Robin Williams had a lot of emotional stuff going on, but he's the most interesting man to watch.
Yeah.
Yes. So before we rank the film, Barker, if people wanted to find your music, follow you, where could they get a hold of you?
For sure. You can look me up on Instagram. I'm the most active on there at Social Cig, like a social cigarette. Otherwise, you can go to socialcig.com. You can see all my updated my tour dates on there. Hitting the road. Next Milwaukee show, I'm not sure when this will come out, but March 2nd at the Cooperage, and then March 30th at Mad Planet.
Cooperage would be a fun show. I like that venue.
Absolutely. I'm really excited for that one too. So next Milwaukee show's coming up. It'd be a fun time. Come through. We like to have fun.
Oh, yeah. And you were just you've been on a couple tours, I want to say, recently.
Yeah, put together a fall tour and a winter tour. So for both of those, there was kind of like about maybe like a week and a half to 2 weeks of shows consecutively on the road. And then I kind of just lumped in together the shows for like the whole season onto one list to make it easy for people. But yeah, it's been fun being on the road for the first time.
First time?
Yeah, fall was the first time being on the road.
Very exciting.
It was some of the best memories I've ever made in my life. It was just a blast.
It's got to be very fun playing to brand new audiences again.
Oh, yeah.
Because Milwaukee, you got a pretty good following here, so you know like kind of what to expect. But you go to this bar here in this town or whatever, it's like
playing shows night after night, and
you gotta
win them over.
You gotta win them over. That's very cool.
Yeah, and it kind of just ups the level of my performance for sure. And it's like another some hurdles to jump over to get better. And also one of my favorite parts on the road was just hanging out after the shows and crashing on friends' couches and just kind of doing that whole thing.
It's the classic montage of a band touring, right?
Totally.
Yep.
Totally.
Fuck yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. This is a blast.
Yeah.
I love talking about movies.
I know you mentioned the other day, you're like, I just saw Society of the Snow. And that's a great movie, too.
Great fucking movie, dude.
That's at the top of my list right now.
Great movie, horrible real-world event.
Yeah, horrible story, like very sad, but also very triumphant.
Is it the rugby players?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just listened to the last podcast on the left's coverage of that whole thing.
Yeah.
That story's crazy.
It's a heavy story.
Yeah.
But
The stuff that didn't make it in the movie is even weirder.
really?
They had a poop stick because they were having trouble defecating, so they actually all shared a stick to like dig it out.
Do you want me to what it actually was?
We're really. I thought cum water was bad. We're getting further out.
But they're above the tree line, so where did they get a stick?
It's probably like a rod on the airplane.
Yeah.
Well, they think it was a bone.
Ooh.
A poop bone. The last podcast does a really good, I think, a 3-parter on the entire thing.
Yo.
It's crazy.
So we're gonna rank the film.
Poop bone.
Poop bone. It's the evolution of Cubone from Pokemon.
Horrible name for a band, Poop Bone. So all the movies we've talked about, we have in a ranking, and it's this or that, and it moves up or down.
Okay.
If you haven't seen the movie, you abstain. And if we had a tie, we rock, paper, scissors. So we'll start with Face Off or Saltburn.
Saltburn.
I haven't seen Face Off.
You should. Nicolas Cage
Okay.
and John Travolta. One of them's a criminal, the other's like a cop, and they change faces.
Okay.
It's so stupid.
It's so dumb.
It's the most John Woo. I would go Saltburn as well. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or Saltburn.
Once upon a time.
Saltburn. I didn't love that movie. Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, honestly, I think I'd go Saltburn over it too.
It's a slow burn.
I would go Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I do think Saltburn is great.
I mean, if Leonardo DiCaprio is so fucking funny in that movie, but I don't think it's enough to take Saltburn.
That's like a weird movie. That's one of Tarantino's weirder films.
I thought it was pretty anticlimactic, honestly.
Same.
Well, I mean, if anything, I think the climax just comes out of nowhere. When he throws a can of dog food at that girl's head or that dude's head, and then the dog, and he's tripping on, like, he does the acid cigarette.
Yeah.
It was like an explosion of action that I didn't know was coming. I don't know. I think it was just Tarantino having to deliver on what people expected when really he just wanted to make a movie about movie making in the 60s.
Sure. In my opinion, I think Tarantino always has those crazy endings, so it's like, it's coming.
So
There's
he had
all
to.
this build up. But honestly, I didn't think that it was just kind of predictable.
Yeah, and you also have the events that actually
story,
happened.
right,
So it's like, is he going to do it or is he going to change it?
Well, and Tarantino is famous for revisionist history and delivering violence violently upon people that deserve it.
And saying the N-word.
Dude,
I recently talked about this with
have you
It's so true, though.
have you ever seen Blazing Saddles?
No, I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
It
so
just had
good.
its 50th birthday the other day, and I watched it, most of it, for our first time on Friday. And they give a warning. This is a comedy that's 50 years old. They give a warning ahead of time, like a 3-minute warning about the context. And it is one of the funniest comedies ever.
Mel Brooks is a genius.
And the N-word would put Tarantino to shame. I don't know. It's a word that exists, and people use it in a way that makes comedic sense. I would also never, ever say it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's so funny that it's always him that's saying it the most in the movie.
That's the worst. When he writes himself as a character saying it.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, when he writes a scene where Salma Hayek puts her foot in his mouth.
Right.
You dare. Wait, no, that was written by Eli Roth.
He wrote that movie. Oh, no, he wrote that scene specifically.
Oh.
The scene got added in.
That's dirty then.
He's dirty. He's a dirty man.
Yeah, sorry to go off track.
No, it's good. Guardians of the Galaxy 1 or Saltburn?
Ooh.
Guardians, dude. That movie's so good.
Guardians.
That movie's great.
Avengers 1 or Saltburn?
I don't know if I've seen Avengers 1.
Okay.
Not a big superhero sort of fan.
The needle drops in Guardians of the Galaxy is just too good, though.
I might go Avengers. I don't know. I haven't seen it in so long, but I liked it a lot when I saw it.
I saw it like 4 times in theaters. I was working at a theater at the time, so it was free. But I'll go Avengers with you.
Yeah.
It was a big movie.
Yeah.
Evil Dead 2013 or
2013.
Oh, Saltburn.
2013.
Saltburn.
I saw Evil Dead once in theaters. It's a lot of blood.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Really? Okay.
Evil Dead 2013.
Rewatch that one.
Saltburn
it is ridiculous.
Is number 14 on our list of 44 films.
Nice.
What do we have as one? No Country for Old Men?
Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, that's
Great
rightfully
movie.
so.
I can't believe that beat No Country for Old Men, though.
Dude, No Country for Old Men is so good.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. And that's all we got for you today. We're Hair of the Dogcast. We are on all the social medias. We're on Instagram, X, Threads, Blue Sky. We don't have a TikTok. We never will.
I'm not putting that app on my
Our
phone.
data is for America
tough.
only, not China.
It's tough. It's a tough world, TikTok. Yeah. It's tough.
Well, they're getting a bunch of music taken off of TikTok. Like all of Ghost's music, the metal band Ghost, they got Mariana Cross, very popular on TikTok right now. There's a slowed down reverb version, very popular. They're pulling it. So a bunch of music's about to leave TikTok for some legal reason that I did not read the article about yet.
UMG, I believe, or UNG, whatever label Taylor Swift is on.
That sounds about right.
And somebody else and some other big artists, they're taking all their music off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. I wish.
People are just going to keep slowing it down and slowing it down.
Yep.
Do you have time to talk for like maybe another 20 minutes in our
for
after
sure.
show? Okay.
Hanging out. Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
bring up Kanye West and Ozzy Osbourne in the after show then.
All right.
We're here at the Dogcast. Check us out. Thanks for listening.
Drink your bathwater.
Thanks, y'all.
Make sure the bathwater's drained before you leave. It's also weird that Oliver's bedroom is, you have to go through Felix's bathroom to get there. He's like a toy in that dude's closet a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
But we'll see everyone again on our next show. Thank you for joining us.
I'll have an ear ring. Or no, not ear. An
Eyebrow
eyebrow ring next time you see me.
Dude, women,
Stupid.
people will be freaking out. Thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This was a blast. Bye.